एक बार देख लीजिए, दीवाना बना दीजिए, जलने को है तैयार हम, परवाना बना दीजिए।
बेटा, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा। हमें तुम्हारे लक्षण बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं लग रहा, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा।
I have made a video a few months ago talking about some of the most interesting cases of products of nepotism who, despite their privilege, could not make a mark in the film industry. These are the cases of actors who had everything from coming from families that have significant influence in the film industry, are monetarily well off, and could consistently appear in films despite a history of flops. However, the audience and the reception around their acting performances and movies was either so negative or so lackluster that it took a few years for them to accept that they are not cut out for this industry. This included the likes of Tanisha Mukherjee, who you may remember from Neil and Nikki, an actor who confidently states today that her performances were fab, the only problem being that she was in terrible movies.
I was not a bad actress. I just worked with not great directors.
Imran Khan, who is gearing up for his comeback with Veer Das, but just lacked the range as a leading man. Puru Rajkumar, despite having a legendary lineage, being reduced to inconsequential supporting or villain roles, and Arman Jain and Love Sinha, who came from probably the most prominent film families but could just not make waves in their careers. Arman Jain is promoting his cloud kitchen through a Netflix show. Oh, I wish I had that kind of privilege. While these are all restricted to the products of nepotism who really went through the ringer of criticism or rejection, I want to talk about actors, both outsiders and those from film families, who just had the worst first impression in the Hindi film industry. Careers that had the hopes for at least some form of longevity. But the initial reception of their movie or movies was so catastrophic that their careers were almost dead upon arrival. This may be harsh, but it is true for the cases I will be mentioning in the video. Do tell me before I start the video, which actors come to your mind when you think about this predicament of a first impression so terrible that there was no recovery or coming back from it. So here is Tried&Refused Productions with Bollywood careers that ended upon arrival. Harman Baweja in Love Story 2050. I kid you not when I say this that there was genuine hype surrounding Harman Baweja in his debut film Love Story 2050. A kid obsessed with 9XM reruns used to be vibing and jamming to Milo Na Milo, like the next reckoning of Hrithik Roshan has graced us with his presence. But the movie was so abhorrent in its execution, an attempt at a high-concept sci-fi time travel film that just paled in comparison to even Abracadabra, our own bootleg version of Harry Potter. The film tanked miserably at the box office, not only making Harman the butt of jokes, but dragging Priyanka Chopra along the way too.
Winky Rings, Karan ko kiss karna hai? Yes! Ooh!
You had embarrassing fashion choices, robotic speaking teddy bears, and Harman's stiff dialogue delivery that became meme material long before memes were even a thing. While Harman tried his best to change his impression among the audience with sporadic appearances as a leading man, but the damage was already done. Harman has made somewhat of a digital comeback as a talent after a decade, but should be commended the most for the kind of projects he is backing as a producer today, most notably Mrs., Bhagwat, and the hard-hitting Huck that released in theaters recently. Sunil Anand in Anand or Anand. Dev Anand launching his son should have been iconic and something that is considered to be a natural progression for most Hindi cinema legends. Instead, we got a debut so bizarre that people to this day wonder if Sunil ever wanted to be on camera. The case of Sunil Anand and his ability as an actor is probably the most concerning, for the digital prints of his appearances are barely available, and when I remember stumbling upon them years ago, I was more embarrassed for the Nepo baby on the travesty that was being attempted. At least Anand or Anand had some structure, but Master was matlab kuch bhi gold. The performance was stiff, dialogue delivery felt like someone was reciting a poem, and Dev Saab's legendary charm absolutely refused to genetically transfer. The film genuinely came across as a child being dragged on set and an example of someone who just did not want to be there, making me also wonder how Dev Anand's legacy, in films at least, somewhat dissipated with the future generations. Meghna Kothari in Prem, Aggan. Everybody trolls the hell out of Fardeen Khan for his debut appearance, and deservedly so, but many people forget about the sheer manner in which Meghna Kothari was also dragged for her performance in Prem Aggan. This is not only because pretentious movie reviews gave us flashbacks to this nightmare, but I think they did contribute in reminding us what a show this truly was. I mean, Meghna Kothari saying the lines "Mujhe wo haseen dard dena" and dancing to Exercise is something I think she would want to forget too.
तुम्हारा नाम जे मेरा नहीं, गे मेरा होना चाहिए था.
गे मेरा?
A film so unintentionally funny that I feel like Fardeen, just for the jokes, should do a sequel of the movie Badass Ravi Kumar style. Cringeworthy is an understatement, and Meghna also left the industry following such a disastrous first impression. Nithiin in Agyat. If there is one Telugu star that is consistently discussed in Telugu forums, it is Nithiin. He is not discussed for his compelling work or the waves that he is creating as a leading man, but he is mentioned for the consistent nature with which he features in mid to terrible films and refuses to evolve over a period of time. While Nithiin oddly keeps on featuring in Telugu movies every calendar year despite consecutive box office flops, many people may not remember that he attempted a stint with Hindi cinema with a movie titled Agyat which tanked at the box office. Ram Gopal Varma thought he could do Predator in the jungle with a cast and crew shooting a film, and it barely developed any sense of fear or dread amongst the audience. His performance failed to create any impression. Playing the role of an assistant director, I wondered while watching the film why Nithiin even said yes to this film. What a crazy find also if you watch this movie is that Rasika Duggal also features in this film. While I deviate in thought, it's important to note that this is Nithiin's only Hindi film in a career spanning over 2 decades. Yukta Mookhey in Pyasa. A lot of young folk will not remember this because, well, it wasn't your time, but I have to tell you that in the late 90s and the early 2000s, Yukta Mookhey was quite a huge deal. Crowned Miss World in 1999, she was the talk of the town for her beauty, of course, but her charm and grace as well. The mid-2000s also are associated with the natural progression of pageant queens to join the Hindi film industry, and Yukta Mookhey attempted the same with a terribly produced and acted film called Pyasa that starred Aftab Shivdasani as well. The film looked nothing short of a B-grade thriller. She had beauty, stature and a lot of hype associated with her name, but her acting performance was wooden and stale. It did not help, of course, that the movie was sleazy and terrible from a story point of view.
मुझे अगर फिल्म सेट पे बोला जाएगा गालियां देते हुए कि तुमको डांस करने नहीं आता है या तुम्हारे को पता नहीं कि कैमरा कैसे फेस किया जाए, it's a denigration.
Her career thereafter is a string of movies that never materialized, and one wonders whether it had to do with the terrible first impression of Pyasa. Girish Kumar in Ramayya Vastavaiya. If you ask anyone about the son of the Tips empire, Girish Kumar and his debut Hindi film, many people will tell you that they actually did not mind him at all as a leading man. He looked the part, he danced well, and his performance may have been mediocre, but I often reflect on his career and the steadfast manner in which he just vanished that he wasn't actually all that bad. So much that an entire career needed to be abandoned, appearing only in one film after this Telugu remake. Knowing the influential family that Girish hails from, I highly doubt that he did not have the means to feature in several films in the future. He may have fallen out of love with the craft itself, maybe he was never interested in the first place, who knows. But I definitely think and wonder that he could have coasted through to have a respectable longevity in the industry, if he just, for a lack of a better term, stuck with it. Manara Chopra in Zid. One of the most fascinating actors whose identity I find to be a doozy in itself is that of Manara Chopra, an actor who is Priyanka and Parineeti Chopra's cousin but not close enough to reap the benefits of that association, I assume. Manara first featured in a movie titled Zid that was directed by Vivek Stanley Kubrick Agnihotri, and it halted her career upon arrival. Aimed at being a sultry psychological thriller, the movie and its ultimate execution came across as crass and unintentionally funny. What was intended to be intense and dark was weighed down by the over-the-top expressions and abrupt emotional spikes inundated in Manara's performance. Even if the attempt was to be marginally sexy, neither Vivek Agnihotri nor Manara could extract even an iota of that feeling, leading to her career, at least in the mainstream, coming to an absolute halt, reducing her to item songs and B-grade Tamil and Telugu cinema. Ajay Jadeja in Khel. The 2000s may have been about the Indian pageant winners transitioning to Hindi cinema, but also consisted of Indian cricketers attempting their stint at movies, mostly falling flat on their face because it had nothing to do with the craft of acting and everything to do with popular faces just doing side quests for fun. Ajay Jadeja's boyish grin, which worked on the cricket field, failed miserably in the film industry with his debut appearance in Khel, convincing us that he is a heartthrob that Selena Jaitley is crazy about. This was produced by Sunil Shetty's production company that shortly afterwards was shut down, and the proof is in the pudding on why that happened. His dialogue delivery was flat, his comedic timing was off, and the action sequences unintentionally hilarious. Critics rightfully called out his appearance in this movie as painfully unaware, but this did not register as 6 years later Jadeja appeared in a train wreck movie called Pal Pal Dil Ke Saath that also featured Vinod Kambli, and it acted as the perfect recipe for any producer to burn their cash.
जब मेरे माँ बाप शादी करके घर गए तो इसी दादी ने उन्हें घर से निकाल दिया था दादी माँ आज भी मेरी माँ को बाजारू औरत कहती है।
वाह क्या एक्टिंग कर रहा है।
Sharmin Segal in Hira Mandi talk about being handed over everything on a platter and taking that opportunity and setting it up in flames. I'm not even mentioning her debut film Malal because barring a select few who do covering movies as a job, no one saw it. But Hira Mandi specifically, Sharmin Segal's performance in the series was a disaster in every way. The wooden expressions, the monotone delivery, and to make matters worse, the arrogance that came with it in interviews, dismissing and dissing co-stars like a veteran starlet who had decades of experience. Sharmin was an acting and PR nightmare, being rightfully called out for her antics on and off camera. In a series where many women were praised for their emotional vulnerability and range, Sharmin stuck out like a sore thumb, and it seems this has done irreparable damage to her future prospects despite being taken under the influential wing of her uncle Sanjay Leela Bansali. Deepak Malhotra in Lamhe. Imagine a debut so scarring, so traumatizing, the vitriol and abuse swarming in such intimidating numbers that one changes their official name and runs away from the industry. So was the case of model Deepak Malhotra, who is known as Dino Martelli today. When advertisements were mostly restricted to print and television, Deepak Malhotra was a rage posing for huge brands, so much so that it caught the attention of Yash Chopra and he roped him in for a brief role in the 1991 movie Lamhe opposite Sridevi. His small role, however, received such intense backlash, specifically for his dialogue delivery in one particular scene, that he was dropped from future projects. Only appearing in a movie titled Tejaswini, which is revisited even today for one scene, for how terribly over the top and hilarious it is.
देश नर की खाई में झोंका जा रहा है और ये साला पूछता है क्रिकेट का स्कोर क्या है।
Deepak took a step back from films and entertainment and lives a quiet, happy life as an entrepreneur with his family. Ibrahim Ali Khan in Nadania. I associate the Harman Baweja hype and train wreck to Ibrahim Ali Khan, an actor who was the talk of the town prior to his release. A carbon copy of his father visually, everyone's hopes was that Ibrahim Ali Khan will carry the baton of the family lineage with pride, and what we got was two back-to-back disasters, both in terms of storytelling and acting performances. Everyone concluded that Ibrahim Ali Khan as a concept was far more compelling until he started performing movie dialogues, and one really wonders what really can be the future as a PR shift takes place with Ibrahim embracing his lisp. Is it going to be a career of portraying characters with a speech impediment? Will it be a full transition to become an influencer? Or will there be a resurgence of any kind? It's all out in the open. It's however alarming to note on how fast the hype surrounding Ibrahim took a nosedive and how Ahan Pandey for everyone came out of syllabus.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.